I still remember the day those words cut through me like a knife. "You treat your kids like royalty," he said, his voice trembling with anger. "And you treat me like a tenant." I froze. My stepson, Ethan, was standing there with his fists clenched, his eyes wet but defiant. I didn't know what to say. I just stood there, holding the laundry basket in my hands, my heart pounding in my chest. Maybe I deserved it. Maybe I really had made him feel that way. But was it really my fault that no matter how hard I tried, he never saw me as family? Tell me, was I wrong for what I did next? When I married Daniel 5 years ago, I knew it wouldn't be easy. He was a widower, and Ethan was only 13 then. I had 2 kids of my own from my previous marriage. Ava, who was 9, and Liam, who was 7. We were all trying to rebuild our lives after loss and heartbreak. Daniel was kind, patient, and gentle, and I thought love would be enough to blend our families. But from day one, Ethan made it clear I wasn't his mother, and my kids weren't his siblings. I remember the first dinner we had together, after the wedding. I cooked lasagna, his father's favorite, hoping to make it feel like home. Ethan didn't even touch his plate. He just said, "Mom's lasagna was better," and walked away. I tried not to take it personally. He was grieving, I told myself. He needed time. But time didn't make things better. It only built walls higher between us. I would try small things, leaving his favorite snacks in the pantry, offering to help with his homework, asking about his day, but he always brushed me off. Sometimes I'd catch him glaring at my kids, especially when Daniel showed them affection. It broke my heart because I never wanted to replace his mother. I only wanted us to be a family. Daniel did his best too, but he worked long hours, and most of the parenting fell on me. Slowly, I started noticing things. Ethan refusing to eat anything I cooked, refusing to do chores, and isolating himself in his room. He didn't even say good morning or good night anymore, just silence. The kind of silence that eats away at you. Things really changed when Daniel was sent overseas for work for 6 months. Suddenly it was just me and the 3 kids. I thought maybe this was my chance to bond with Ethan. Maybe we could finally find some middle ground. But no, he saw it as punishment. Every day was a battle. He'd leave dirty dishes in the sink on purpose, blast music late at night, and refuse to join us for family dinners. I tried everything: patience, kindness, even strictness. But nothing worked. One night, after I asked him to clean his room, he shouted, "You're not my mother. Stop pretending you care." My heart shattered. I locked myself in my room and cried for hours that night. I started questioning myself. Maybe I was forcing something that could never exist. Then, one morning, I woke up to find a note on the kitchen table. Ethan had written, "Don't touch my stuff. I'm not your project." My hands shook as I read it. I wasn't trying to control him. I was just trying to be there. But something inside me broke that day. From that moment on, I stopped trying. I stopped forcing smiles. Stopped making his favorite meals. Stopped knocking on his door. If he wanted to treat me like a stranger, I'd do the same. I treated him like a tenant, just as he said. I did his laundry when necessary, but left it folded at his door. I stopped including him in outings, unless he asked. And slowly, painfully, I detached. At first, I thought I was doing the right thing, giving him space. But then, something strange happened. He started noticing. When I took Ava and Liam to the amusement park, Ethan didn't ask to come. But when we returned home with smiles and souvenirs, I saw him staring at the photos I posted online. When I made a big Sunday breakfast for my kids, and not him, he came downstairs and said coldly, "So I guess I have to make my own food now." I looked at him and said quietly, "You're almost an adult, Ethan. You're capable." His jaw tightened, and he stormed off. I didn't realize it then, but a part of him actually wanted my attention. He just didn't know how to ask for it. Days turned into weeks, and the silence between us grew heavier. Until one afternoon, Daniel called me from overseas, asking why Ethan had sounded so distant when they talked. I hesitated. I didn't want to sound like I was complaining. But I told him the truth, that Ethan didn't want anything to do with me. Daniel sighed and said, "Just keep trying, okay? He's still hurting." I promised I would, but deep down, I was exhausted. It felt like no matter what I did, I was the villain in his story. So I stopped trying to be the hero. Months passed, and Daniel finally came back home. I thought things might get better, but they didn't. If anything, Ethan's resentment grew worse. He accused me of favoring my kids, of making them feel special, while treating him like an outsider. "You buy them new clothes," he shouted one night. "You cook their favorite food. You laugh with them. But when it comes to me, you act like I'm some renter in your house." His words stung, but I couldn't help myself. I said, "Because that's how you've wanted it, Ethan. You built this wall, not me." His face fell. I'll never forget the look in his eyes. Hurt, betrayal, maybe even guilt. But he didn't say another word. He just walked away. For days, I replayed that moment in my head. Maybe I had gone too far. Maybe I should have fought harder for his love. But how long can you keep knocking on a locked door before you give up? My kids started noticing too. "Mom," Ava asked once, "why doesn't Ethan like us?" I didn't know what to say. How do you explain to a child that love isn't always something you can earn, no matter how pure your heart is? Then came the breaking point. It was Ethan's 17th birthday. Daniel was away again for work, but I still wanted to make it special. I bought him a gift card from his favorite gaming store and made his mother's favorite cake recipe that I'd found in an old notebook Daniel had kept. I thought maybe this would show him I cared. But when I went to his room to give him the cake, he looked at it and said, coldly, "You don't have to pretend. You don't care about me. You just want to look like a good stepmom." That's when something inside me snapped. I quietly placed the cake on his table and said, "You're right. I won't pretend anymore." Then I walked away. That night, I cried harder than I ever had before. I felt like a failure. As a wife, as a mother, as a human being. I couldn't sleep. Around midnight, I got up, walked to the kitchen, and packed up all the photos where we looked like a happy family. I couldn't look at them anymore. I told myself I'd focus only on the kids who wanted my love, Ava and Liam. The next morning, I woke up and did exactly that. I planned a small family trip for just the three of us. When Ethan asked where we were going, I simply said, "It's a family thing." His face went blank. I think for the first time, he realized how much it hurt to be left out. So that's the situation I was in. I had a stepson who hated me for trying and then hated me for stopping. I had to make a choice. Keep fighting for someone who didn't want me, or protect my peace for the sake of my own children. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause for a moment and tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you keep trying, or would you let go? When we came back from that trip, Ethan was different. He didn't say much, but he lingered around us more. He'd come to the kitchen when I was cooking, or sit near us when we watched TV. One evening, as I was folding laundry, he finally said, "You really did treat me like a tenant." My heart sank, but before I could respond, he added softly, "And I hated it." I looked up, not sure what to say. He took a deep breath and continued, "I said those things because I was angry. I missed my mom. But when you stopped trying, I realized I missed you too." His voice cracked. For a long moment, I just stared at him. Then I walked over and hugged him. For the first time in years, he didn't pull away. We talked for hours that night. He told me he felt like loving me was betraying his mom, that he was scared his dad had replaced her, and that accepting me meant letting go of her memory. I told him I'd never wanted to replace her. I just wanted to be there for him in my own way. We cried together. All the years of pain, resentment, and silence melted away in that one conversation. After that day, things slowly began to change. He started joining us for dinners again. He laughed with Ava and Liam. He even helped around the house without being asked. The tension that once filled our home was replaced with something new, peace. Months later, when he graduated high school, he gave me a small envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. It said, "Thank you for not giving up completely. Thank you for being here, even when I didn't deserve it. I know I made things hard, but you're family now, whether you like it or not." I cried right there, in the middle of the ceremony, because after all those years, those few words meant everything. Now, when I look back, I realize something important. Sometimes love isn't instant. Sometimes it's born out of conflict, misunderstanding, and time. I thought treating him like a tenant would protect me from more pain, but it only showed him what he was missing. In the end, maybe we both had to break a little to heal. If you've ever been in a situation like mine, you know how hard it is to love someone who keeps pushing you away. But here's what I learned. Love isn't about perfection or even fairness. It's about patience, boundaries, and hope. If you are on my side, hit that like button. And if you think I should have done something differently, tell me in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. I'll see you all in the next story.